estrella en un mapa que guía la estrella andina. La chacana ilumina brillando de vida, el juego se inicia. Tu corazón bombea fuego, te guía, levanta para callar los miedos. Confía, tu equipo, tu gente, tu pueblo unido se puede tocar hasta el cielo. Sube la cima de la cordillera.
Excelente, vamos a usar.
Juana, vos también podés hacerlo.
El deporte vive en ti. Juegos Panamericanos y para Panamericanos Santiago 2023.
Se perfilará de revés, no, la mueve de derecho. Excelente, vamos a tirar.
Juana, vos también podés hacerlo.
El deporte vive en ti. Juegos Panamericanos y para Panamericanos Santiago 2023, del 20 de octubre al 26 de noviembre.
Hola, soy Alejandra Orozco de México, doble medallista olímpica en clavados y miembro del Team Panam Sport. Y quiero invitar a todos a ver los Juegos Panamericanos de Santiago 2023 por Panam Sport Channel.
Juegos Panamericanos y para Panamericanos Santiago 2023. El deporte vive en ti.
My name is Anderson Peters from Grenada, two-time world champion and reigning Pan American champion. I'm also part of the Team Panam Sports, and I'm inviting you to watch the Panam Games on the Panam Sports channel.
Pan American and Para-Pan American Games, Santiago 2023. Sport lives in you.
La fiesta que nos juntamos, el alma dejamos, son los Panamericanos y para Panamericano.
Yo, fuerza, coraje y sentimientos, guerrera, guerrero en el epicentro, Santiago de Chile, el punto de encuentro para demostrar
Lo que se lleva dentro.
Mi alma proclamo, con el foco claro está en mi mano, superar mi tramo, dale ven y vamos, que esto no es en vano, aquí celebramos Panamericano.
Sube encima de la cordillera. Dando la vida, dejando tu huella.
Nuestro punto de encuentro. América grita ya, na 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 la pagó tu fuego. América grita ya, na 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 la pagará tu fuego. Lo llama en ti vive. Con el fuego del interior, toda la fuerza de tu corazón. Y si quieres vencer, deja tu alma en el juego. Recuperamos la fe, así perdimos los
Panameo para
cielos.
Panamérica, entera de pie y en un mapa que guía la estrella andina. La chacana ilumina brillando de vida, el juego se inicia. Tu corazón bombea fuego, te guía, levanta para callar los miedos. Confía, tu equipo, tu gente, tu pueblo unido se puede tocar hasta el cielo. Sube encima de la cordillera. Dando la vida, dejando tu huella.
Nuestro punto de encuentro. América grita ya, na 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 la pagó tu fuego. América grita ya, na 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 la pagará tu fuego.
América de pie.
Yo, nadie apagará este fuego.
Hola, soy Angelo Caro, skater profesional, y los invito a todos a ver los Juegos Panamericanos Santiago 2023 por Panam Sport Channel.
Juegos Panamericanos y para Panamericanos Santiago 2023. El deporte vive en ti.
Hola, soy Daniel Ders y los quiero invitar a ver los Juegos Panamericanos Santiago 2023 por el Panam Sports Channel.
Juegos Panamericanos y para Panamericanos Santiago 2023. El deporte vive en ti. Por primera vez en la historia, los Juegos Panamericanos serán transmitidos en vivo y gratis en todo el mundo a través de Panam Sports Channel. Más de 6.900 atletas, 1.900 horas de acción, 9 señales en vivo. No te pierdas Santiago 2023, del 20 de octubre al 5 de noviembre, en las aplicaciones web, móviles y de TV. Descarga ahora Panam Sports Channel, el canal oficial de los Juegos Panamericanos Santiago 2023 para el mundo.
Somos los primos Esteban y Marcos Grimald, miembros del Team Panam Sports.
Y los invitamos a seguir los Juegos Panamericanos Santiago 2023.
Juegos Panamericanos y para Panamericanos Santiago 2023. El deporte vive en ti.
La fiesta que nos juntamos, el alma dejamos, son los Panamericanos para Panamericano.
Yo, fuerza, coraje y sentimientos, guerrera, guerrero en el epicentro, Santiago de Chile, el punto de encuentro para demostrar
Lo que se lleva dentro.
Mi alma proclamo, con el foco claro está en mi mano, superar mi tramo, dale ven y vamos, que esto no es en vano, aquí celebramos Panamericano.
Sube la cima de la cordillera. Dando la vida, dejando tu huella.
Nuestro punto de encuentro. América grita ya, na 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 apagó tu fuego. América grita ya, na 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 apagará tu fuego. Lo llama en ti vive. Con el fuego del interior, toda la fuerza de tu corazón. Y si quieres vencer, deja tu alma en el juego. Recuperamos la fe, así perdimos los miedos.
Panameo para Panamérica, entera de pie y en un mapa que guía la estrella andina. La chacana ilumina, brillando de vida, el juego se inicia. Tu corazón bombea fuego, te guía, levanta para callar los miedos. Confía, tu equipo, tu gente, tu pueblo unido se puede tocar hasta el cielo. Sube a la cima de la cordillera. Dando la vida, dejando tu huella.
Nuestro punto de encuentro. América grita ya, na 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 apagó tu fuego. América grita ya, na 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 apagará tu fuego.
América de pie.
Yo, nadie apagará este fuego.
Hi, I'm Megan McNeil, an Olympic champion swimmer from Canada. Don't miss the Pan American Games, which you can catch on the Pan Am Sports channel.
Pan American and Para-Pan American Games. Santiago 2023. Sport lives in you.
Dando la vida, dejando tu Panamérica, entera de pie y en un mapa que guía la estrella andina. La chacana ilumina brillando de vida, el juego se inicia. Tu corazón bombea fuego, te guía, levanta pa' callar los miedos. Nadie apagará este fuego.
Bienvenidos, bienvenidas a una nueva transmisión del Panam Sports Channel. Nos encontramos tempranito en el primer turno de estos Juegos Panamericanos Santiago 2023 para continuar acercándoles toda la actividad del remo en estos Juegos desde este hermoso escenario que vemos ya tiene listas las salidas. Hoy tendremos algunas finales interesantes, así que las y los invitamos a que se queden por aquí por el Panam Sports Channel. Mi nombre es Carolina Mitriani, estoy acompañada de alguien que sabe y mucho de este deporte y que hace ahora las veces de local también. Bernardo Guerrero, ¿cómo estás? Bienvenido. Bien, tenemos para comenzar en breve, nada más, en menos de 2 minutitos, el repechaje del doble par de remos cortos de peso ligero femenino. Vamos a continuar con el doble par de remos cortos de peso ligero masculino. También tendremos finales B, la de 2 remos sin timonel femenino y la del masculino. Pero tenemos el plato fuerte desde las 8:40 de hora de Chile, 2 remos sin timonel femenino, el masculino también, 4 pares de remos cortos masculino y femenino, y en el cierre desde las 10:30 hora de Chile, 8 con timonel masculino. Así que por ahí va a andar toda la programación de esta mañana en el Panam Sports Channel. Te recordamos que de manera gratuita podés seguir toda la actividad, tanto desde la web www.panamsportschannel.org como desde la aplicación que te la bajás, la descargas de manera gratuita en cualquier dispositivo móvil y podés ver las 8 señales en vivo y en directo. Ahora nosotros nos quedamos con el remo, que decía tiene salida en un ratito nada más, con el doble par de remos cortos de peso ligero femenino en la Laguna Grande San Pedro de La Paz. Así que nos preparamos para esta partida.
Ahora sí, Carolina, buenos días. Pido las disculpas correspondientes, estaba muteado. Bueno, lo que decía es que una mañana muy fría, día de finales. Partimos con los repechajes, como bien decías tú, por ejemplo.
battle it out in a B final. They will be used to a variety of conditions. Rowers are tough. It takes a lot for them to not go out on the water, but it's also just a reminder too that if conditions aren't always idyllic, it's not a reason to stay indoors and get on the indoor rowing machines or do some other supplementary work, because you just never quite know what you're going to get at the big championship meets. You need to be good in all conditions. It will require a subtle little change in technique. So beautiful conditions at Laguna Grande in San Pedro de la Paz. So a good performance from the Paraguayan pairing of Adriana Sarabia Freites and Bylan Bourdain Diaz. Will be the men's light double sculls repechage up next. And then we will move into the B finals and then the A finals. So 7:20.03, not particularly quick, but it's not about time, it's about medals. Times, world's fastest times, world records all come and go. Those Pan American medals will last forever if you can get your hands on one of them. As we just go back down and have a look at the finishing stages, have a look at some of the wonderful images coming off the water. And we are underway now in the men's lightweight double sculls. So across there we've got Brazil in lane 1, Peru in lane 2, Argentina in 3. Originally we had Uruguay in 4, but not on the start line. And down here closest to us we've got the Cuban pairing of Carlo Rodriguez Casanova and Jose Benitez. Across the far side representing Brazil, Lucas Batista and Marcelo Barbosa de la Media. Peru represented by Junior Sandoval Santamaria and Enrico Cipriani. The Argentina pairing of Alejandro Colomino and Dixon Kirk. And it is the Argentinian pairing who half boat length clear at the moment. As they go through that first 300 metres, approaching the 500 metre mark. Yeah, good rhythm from the Argentinians. Really good display so far. And it's about maintaining it, it's about holding it. You'll see a lot of athletes. You can look at facial expressions to determine whether they're fatiguing or not, and some will have almost like a poker face, show nothing. Others will accentuate that pain, but really the best way of determining whether an athlete or athletes are in trouble is look at the form. You start to see a big change in form. More head movement, shoulders begin to drop, start to shorten up their strokes, then generally you know they are in a little bit of trouble. Or the bow just starts to drop, just looks a little bit more stuttery. Good performance here so far from Alejandro Colomino and Dixon Kirk. It's now Brazil across the far side, beginning to make a move too. Batista and Barbosa de Almeida. Almeida and Batista, very measured in the way they are approaching this race. As we start to get up towards that 1,000 metre mark. And this absolutely wonderful venue, Laguna Grande in San Pedro. de La Paz in Chile, 500 kilometers outside of Santiago. It is the furthest venue for these 19th Pan American Games. And now Brazil start to lift, start to increase their ratings. Just the 2 boats to go through to the final. Peru hanging tough too, through Junior Sandoval Santa Maria and Enrico Cipriani. There is that 1,000 metres. And it is game on between these two nations, these two great rivals. First and foremost, it'll be simply qualifying for the final. And then it'll come down to the individual crews, just how much they want to hurt themselves, knowing that they still will have that final to compete in. They get out into a little bit more open water, we have just noticed on the previous race that the lake just starts to chop up a little bit more, making quite the protection that you're getting from this banking that you can see in the background. I'll tell you what, this could be a number of places in the world it is that pretty. The best of Europe, places like New Zealand as well, very similar. And now it is the Brazil pairing that are just starting to edge away, half a boat length clear. Can the Argentinians do? They'll also want to go into the final conference, so they'll be wanting to see whether in fact they can hold it together over the last 1,000 metres, particularly over the last 500 metres. Now we're going to see a little bit of a lift in rating here from the Argentinians. It's all Brazil, who have been beautifully measured in the way they've approached this lightweight double sculls repechage. I do sense now though that both these crews will go through to that final. Now the 1,500 metre mark, or as I like to say, it's a distance of 2,000 metres, well, 1,500 metres of hope and 500 metres of truth, and it's very much the case when we do get to the finals, which are not too far away. But Brazil just starting to move away now, almost 2 boat lengths. Wonderful display from Batista, Barbosa, De La Almeida. And Kirk, though, I'll be just concerned that they are in that first 2. That will be the goal this morning to make that final. You can just notice there, as I mentioned earlier, last 500 metres, that lake just starts to, it's a little rougher, a little bit more chop on the surface. Good rhythm, good timing. Brazil will come down comfortably and qualify for the men's lightweight double sculls final, winning this repechage. And a really well measured, almost dominant display. Sergeant Tina, who took it out quickly. And so Batista, Barbosa, De Almeida out of Brazil qualify for the final. And Argentina as well, not a lot in it, and they're coming in third. It will be Peru, they will go into the B final. Junior Sandoval Santa Maria and Enrico Cipriani. Just looking at that, I think they both did that fairly comfortably. As comfortably as you can in a sport like rowing, where, let's be fair, competition time, it's nothing short of barbaric. It is brutal, both mentally and physically. And now coming down, this independent athletes, a team out of Cuba, in fact, Carlos Rodriguez Casanova and Jose Benitez, so the Cuban team crossing the line. Emerging nation in the sport of rowing. pick up some of the highlights. There was Argentina early on, who set the tempo, set the pace, got out clear. Sometimes it is a simple case of out of sight, out of mind. But they're going to have some work to do if they're to challenge this Brazilian pairing come finals time. Because while I sense both teams still had a lot more to give, Brazil still looked just another level up. Now we get set for the first of our finals, the B final. Often in the bigger regattas too, you can have a C final. So this is really about seeding. This has a lot to do with Olympic qualification, World Championship qualification. So Venezuela will start in 1, Uruguay will start in 2. Nicaragua will start in 4. We have Uruguay in lane 3. Well, Francis Cashin, Benitez and Yendris Lopez Vasquez just struggling to get off the line across the far side in lane 1. Struggling to get that boat going at the moment, but fairly even across lanes 2, 3 and 4. So, nice performance coming across there in lane 2 from Nicaraguan pairing. Now both crews again just look to settle down that rating. So in fact it is Uruguay here across the far side, closest to us. Tough sport when you get to this level. It's only a small group of athletes in any high performance program. As Uruguay continue to lead in lane 2. Just a little bit of confusion with that start list, I do apologise, but it is Uruguay in 2. It is a sport that requires a huge amount of time and commitment. 2 sessions a day in the water, a lot of supplementary work. It's not a sport that I would describe as fun when you get to the elite level. It's challenging, and I think that is the appeal, the ability to wake up every day and challenge yourself at the highest level. But it's not for everybody. So it's a pretty quick process of elimination. The further you go up, the more competitive you become. You either want to do it or you don't. If it was easy and if it was fun, you'd probably be charging. It'd be probably a bit like Disneyland. That's not the case. So a special breed are our rowers. So went through a time of 150.25 for the 500. Mexico back in a time of 151.67. Nicaragua currently in third and 157.36, and then the Venezuelan pairing, well, some way back across the far side there. 2:05.17. So Uruguay and Mexico first, second at the moment. So Cecilia Plata Alvarado, Maria Garcia Arias, the pairing for Mexico, as they begin to increase their rating now, start to put a little bit of pressure on the Uruguayan pairing of Maria Oliveira VK and Juliana Echipan Rey. So really good race beginning to develop here. Mexico starting to lift, starting to increase that rating. Still low, yet to come through the 1,000 metre mark. In fact, just gone through the 1,000 metre mark. It is Uruguay, a time of 156.87, just quarter of a second ahead of the Mexican pairing, 156.62. Now they get out here into a little bit more open water and things just start to chop up a little bit more. You can just see that ripple on top just become a little bit more significant. Just see a little bit of movement there, so I wonder whether there is a wind coming across their right shoulder, which might have an impact in the final on those athletes that are starting across the far side or the top of the screen in lanes 1 and 2. But it's all Mexico at the moment, starting to move away in this B final. Looking for those valuable ranking points. There will be a number of Olympic Games qualification scenarios that will play out. Not just these Pan American Games, but also at a World Championship level, World Cup level. Yet to approach the 1,500 metre mark, so it is Uruguay, Mexico, Nicaragua and Venezuela. Venezuelans struggling, never really got off the line, some way back at the moment. Now, this is where you've got to have that belief. This is where form and technique is really important. Concentration. Fatigue levels will be starting to kick in here. They'll have lactic acid in the legs, the arms. Start to feel like that last 250 metres that they're rowing through quicksand or rowing through wet concrete. But this Mexican pairing putting on a wonderful demonstration. Cecilia Plata Alvarado and Maria Garcia Arias. Just check that split through 1,500 metres. So 157.77 and almost 5 seconds clear now of the Uruguayan pairing who went through 1,500 metres in 2:03.02. Challenge starting to come from Nicaragua, who are starting to make their move as well. So keep an eye on them, just out of shot at the moment, but it's all Mexico coming down to win this women's coxless pair B final. Very good performance from them. They'll end up finishing 7th overall at the Pan American Games. Of course, that A final still to come. Great result. It is Mexico in an absolute demolition. Really good performance from them. Then it will be Uruguay. They will finish 8th overall, 2nd in this B final. Good performance there from Plata Alvarado and Maria Garcia Arias. And then on the outside, the crowd of Nicaragua of Maria Venegas Joaquin and Iridelia Joaquin. They'll finish 9th at the Pan American Games. And certainly gain some valuable experience and allow themselves another 3 to 4 years to build on that. It is a sport that requires layers and layers of training. Weeks, months, years. Some athletes it will come quicker than others, and then for some athletes you'll have those breakthrough seasons after years of toiling. So confirming that B result for you, it is Mexico, Uruguay, Nicaragua, and that winning time of 7:38.37. Start here from the Uruguayans. And now the final of the B final for the men's pair. Dominican Republic in 1, Peru in 2, Canada in 3, Cuba in 4, Paraguay in 5. This athletes collective in lane 6. Independent athletes team, they're officially known as. So Cuba don't appear that they are on the start line. So just down to the 5 teams. Maybe keeping their powder dry possibly for the 8 or the mixed 8. And so the gates drop and we are underway. Really good start across there by Peru. Roberto Gutierrez and Gina Franco, Colette Chang. Being flanked though, just out to their left-hand side. In the middle there, the Canadian pairing of Connor Aldridge and Quinn Story. Dominican Republic, Rosado Diaz and Alfred Esquia Diaz. Top of the picture. Paraguay too, just starting to get into their rhythm. A little bit slow off the line, but now you feel that they have found that momentum. Got that boot moving nicely in lane 5. Just see there, water conditions pretty good. And it just starts to roughen up a little bit once they do get through that 1,000 metres. And so approaching the 500 metre mark. Good performance here from the Canadians. So they come up to the 500. Peru in lane 2. Dominican Republic at the top of the screen in lane 1. And that time of 1:38.27. 1:41.98 for Peru, 1:43.33 for the Paraguayan pairing. So it's Canada at the moment, doing it comfortably. There will be at times some frustration for some of these crews that end up racing B finals. They can often find their form they were hoping that might have come in the days prior. It wasn't there. Part of the reason why they missed out on the A final, and then putting a number down in the B final that might have been competitive in the A final. It's a tough sport. You're trying to peak for 1 week a year, sometimes twice a year, depending on how much emphasis you do place on certain events. Having to periodise, having to go through those base strength and speed phases, making sure you get some racing in, get the volume right, get the amount of speed sessions right. But Canada really just starting to run away with this. Absolutely dominant display. Looking very good. So, Altridge and Story. Men's coxless pair B final. Day 3 of the rowing program at the 19th Pan American Games. Now they come up to that 1,000 metre mark. And that lead is significant. Go through a time of 1:46.74 versus 1:48.47, so a difference of 1.73 seconds. Oh, it now becomes an individual time trial. There's not the pressure from the other crews to the left or right. And that water just starts to rough up a little bit more once they get out of this clearing here. Right about there. So they'll make that just that subtle little adjustment in regards to the entry of their oars, of their blades. Nice thing about the small boats, whether it be the pairs, the doubles, 4s and the 8s, you get to lean on your fellow teammate. So if you've got any doubts, you get that little bit of reassurance. You don't want to let each other down, and therefore you just push hard. Sometimes in the individual sculling events, it can be a lonely place, and sometimes it's easy to let yourself down rather than a teammate. So you can have a few more mental frailties. They come up to now the 1,500 metre mark, and it is absolutely daylight between themselves and the rest of the crews. In saying that, here come Paraguay of Matias Ramirez, Valenzuela and Nicolas Avalos Sosa. So can Paraguay find the energy over the last 500? Can they bring it home? Can they increase their stroke rating? I'm not sure they can, because the Canadian boat still looks good. Good boat speed. Nice waterline. Coming up, we'll have our first final of the 2023 Pan American Games. First gold, silver and bronze medals to be handed out. And it will be the women's coxless pair A final. It'll feature Argentina, Paraguay, Canada, the United States, Chile and Brazil. But you are watching the men's B final in the coxless pair. And it's very much one-way traffic for the Canadian pairing of Connor Altridge and Quinn Story. This will give them a finish of 7th at the Pan American Games, with the final still to come, which will have 6 crews in it, representing Chile, Mexico, Argentina, the United States, Uruguay and Brazil. And so coming down to win the men's coxless pair B final in emphatic fashion, and a really good display. Well done to Connor Altridge and Quinn Story. Good fast finish here too, coming from Paraguay, and they will pick up 2nd and a ranking of 8th. Well, they build on this experience, they build on this opportunity. Don't underestimate the importance of racing at this level and gaining that experience. As we see Peru now cross the line in 4th, and it will be the Dominican Republic in 5th. Coming down here, the Nicaraguan pairing in lane 6 of Alexander Hernandez and Walter Gonzalez Wilson. Yeah, these major events, suddenly you're dealing with a lot more media. You've got opening ceremonies, village type environment. Rowers, mind you, are a little bit more isolated at this particular Pan American Games, with this venue being 500 kilometres away, but sometimes those peripheral things can impact particularly young athletes. As we go back and have a look at some of the highlights, you'll often hear about athletes at the Olympic Games who struggle with the occasion, and 4 years later get it right, have the ability to be able to put that excitement, put the weight of expectation to one side and just focus on what they need to do. So not too far away from the women's coxless PRA final, always one of the great events. Should be an absolute beauty. It will be fast, it will be furious, they will leave nothing in the tank. There will be a lot of hurt, there will be a lot of suffering. Folks, it's not too far away. And just confirming those results for you, so just under the 7 minutes for Attridge and Story. And there is the start list for our first medal event, day 3 of the rowing program. Now we get to the business end. Argentina will start in 1, Paraguay in 2, Canada in 3, the United States in 4, Chile in 5, Brazil in lane 6. Here we go, folks. And we get underway. Gold, silver and bronze up for grabs. There's no second chance. Women's coxless pair, A final. Great start from the Brazilians of Viana and Lewenkoff down here in lane 6. They want to get out quick. But equally matching the Chilean pairing of Guzman and Rojas in lane 5. United States a little bit more conservative with Hannah Painter and Isabella Darvin. Canadian pairing across there also going well in lane 3. Of Abigail Dent and Olivia McMurray. Paraguay, though, might just be leading. Lane 2. Nicole Martinez-Gonzalez. Alejandra Alderete Alonso. And the Argentinian pairing of Ingrid Mathipa and Olivia Peralta Martinez in lane 1. Struggling a little bit with this early pace. But it is Paraguay. And then lane 5, Chile. Canada poised in 3. United States relatively conservative. Still a relatively high rating being set here by the Chilean crew in lane 5. Get that split through 500 metres. They're approaching that mark. It's tough. This is very tactical here. How all of these crews want to approach it. It is still Paraguay, Canada, and across here in lane 5, Chile. United States, though, hanging tough in lane 4. And also lane 6, bottom of the picture, the Brazilian crew. Got to be careful here that the emotion doesn't get on top of you, that you don't confuse ability with ambition. Go out too quickly. You'd expect these crews at this level have that experience. They'll have a plan. Can't train one way and then go out and race another. Because once, if I can use the analogy, once the wheels fall off, there's no coming back. There is no plan B. So through 500 metres, and it was the Paraguayan pairing, 146.21. Then the Chileans, 147.50, 1.29 second lead. The Canadians, 147.84. Brazil 149.17 and the United States pairing 149.79, so you can throw a blanket over them. Argentina 151.89. But now really starting to extend themselves. Paraguay, Martinez Gonzalez, Alderete Alonso. Canada now looking to go with them though. Abigail Dent, Olivia McMurray. Almost in a stagger type situation you might see in a bike race, almost on the perfect diagonal. There is just a little bit of a breeze that will come across the right shoulder of these rowers. It is running right to left. They will need to just factor that. Canada probably in the best position to manage that if that breeze does get up. It'll be Paraguay that will cop that. And now we start to see the United States begin to make their move. We talked about how tactical the USA are through the 1,000 metre mark now. It is still Paraguay, Canada and the USA. USA now start to increase their rating. They clearly want to put a good third 500 in. 2,000 metres, 1,500 metres of hope, 500 metres of truth. Here we go, starting to approach that threshold. You do just start to feel that Paraguay just starting to tie up a little bit. Good boat speed coming here from the United States. In lane 4. They've got the momentum. Canada hanging tough. Great race beginning to develop. This women's coxless pair A final. Nothing in it through the 1,000 metres. Just a second separating the top 3 crews. Here comes Hannah Painter, Isabel Darwin. So Darwin asking more from Painter, the United States pairing. It is still Paraguay. Gonzalez and Alonso. But the United States now starting to get that bell ball up alongside that of the Paraguayan crew. Canada still hanging tough. Coming up to 1,500 metre mark. The momentum is with the United States. But there is still nothing in it. Can Paraguay lift again? There are bonfires in the legs. There are razor blades attacking the lungs. It is a tough sport. Now it comes down to mental fortitude. You've got to have a head like granite at this level. What a race, what a performance. But have a look at this crew out of the United States, starting to go clear now. Hannah Painter, Isabella Darwin. Canada, Paraguay battling for silver and bronze. But it's the Americans who start to take control of this first medal final. Will the Star Spangled Banner ring out around this magnificent amphitheatre? Laguna Grande is the venue in San Pedro de la Paz, Chile. Got to just think about form here. Maintain that concentration. Lose concentration, you lose time. Wonderful race for second and third, but it is the United States. Paraguay starting to tie up. Canada well and truly locked in the hurt box. The United States about to come down, be crowned Pan American champions for 2023. Stand on the highest step of the podium and be awarded the gold medals. Who wants the silver? Who's going to get the bronze? Will it be the North American double, or will Paraguay upset them? It is the United States. Dominant display, wonderful performance. Gold medal will go to them. Canada hanging on. Canada the silver. Paraguay the bronze. Wonderful race between those two crews. United States, Canada and Paraguay. Finishing down here, it was the Chilean crew, and then across the far side, Argentina. 7:15.85. Pan American champions. Tactically brilliant. Great performance. You do have to admire, though, the Paraguayan pairing of Martinez Gonzalez and Alderete Alonso. They certainly took it out quickly, put the United States and Canada under pressure early, just couldn't quite hold on. Canada were measured as well, but in the finish, the class of the United States, such a rich history, won more medals in the sport of rowing at the Pan American Games than any other country, and that is that time of 7:15.85. Go back and have a look at the highlights. We'll bring you the men's coxless pair final next. Also feature the United States. As we just have a look at the women's coxless pair, Pan American gold medalists Hannah Painter and Isabella Darvin. And that is the starting list for that men's A final. Chile, Mexico, Argentina, the United States, Uruguay and Brazil. As we said, idyllic conditions for the first 500 metres, then it just starts to roughen up a little bit for all of these rowers, a little bit more of a breeze coming from the south than what we have seen in previous days. So we are looking here at the Uruguay team of Esteban Sousa Mazi and Joaquim Correa. They'll have Brazil out to the left-hand side and US out to their right-hand side. So up at the top of the picture as we do get underway in this men's coxless pair A final, it's Chile in 1, Mexico in 2, Argentina in 3, United States in 4, Uruguay in 5, Brazil in 6, and it's Uruguay who decide to take it out quickly. Argentina also going out strong, and looks like another measured performance from the United States here in lane 4. So high stroke rate, up around 36, 37, trying to get off the line quickly, trying to get that boat speed, trying to get that bow up nice and high, set the tempo, then look to lengthen it out. So, big power coming from Uruguay early. Mazi and Joaquim Rodas. Now things do start to just settle down. They'll all have a strategy. But it can all go pear-shaped quickly. Things can change very quickly. There is an exponential curve of fatigue that'll come certainly with 250 metres to go, where every metre after that, those fatigue levels just increase dramatically. And that's what they're all thinking about. That's why you've just got to keep your powder dry early, not burn too many matches through the first 1,000 metres. So United States beginning to get into their work in lane 4 across the far side. Chile, Mexico out to their left, and then in the middle, Argentina still hanging tough, but just starting to drop back a little bit. It's all Uruguay, it's all the United States, lanes 4 and 5. Went through the 1,000 metres in 1:35.25, and it was the Uruguayan pairing of Correa and Salsamasi. But Dale Carlson, Alexander Hedge is the American pairing. They've just got their nose in front now. Just a bell ball, half a canvas maybe. Starting to approach that 1,000 metre mark. It's all about timing. It's all about collectively coming together as one. Trying to get the boat. Two athletes in unison. Some real little subtleties that govern the sport. We do come through the 1,000 metres, so halfway through this A final of the Pan American Games, the men's coxless pair. It is the United States leading Uruguay. Really good contest developing for the bronze medal. And it might be Mexico at the moment, who sit there, Alejandro Reyes and Luis Castillo. But the Americans now, half a boat length, looking good. Uruguay did go out very hard. Will they pay for that on the back end? Now, things just start to chop up a little bit here. The Americans looking comfortable. Just looking to lengthen it out. Good technique, good form. Always look at the form of athletes to determine whether they are starting to fatigue or not. It's always a sign. A little bit more head movement, little shoulders tend to drop a bit more. Just start to shorten up a little bit. Danger there of catching a crab or catching the water if the fatigue levels are that great. But it is one of the toughest sports on the planet. It is the Americans, though, who now start to take control, just like their women's pairing did moments ago. Hannah Painter, Isabella Darvin picking up the gold, and the women's equivalent. Will it be the double for the United States? Dale Carlson, Alexander Hedge, 1,500 metres. Now, this is where the concentration's required. This is where you've got to dig deep. Go into that hurt box. See who can stay there the longest, who can suffer the most. Uruguay starting to just fade a little bit. And now the Mexican pairing of Reyes and Castillo beginning to make their move. Can they somehow, over this last 500 metres, snatch the silver? Because it's all America at the moment. Wonderful display here in this coxless pair final. Working through now mentally, counting the strokes down. Visualising that gold medal being put around their neck, that silver, that bronze. That'll be what's urging them on now, their place in history. It's the United States, Mexico, big charge for the line. Can they get up over Uruguay? Dale Carlson, Alexander Hedge heading towards a gold medal and forever being Pan American gold medalists in one of the toughest sports. It will be the United States fast finishing Mexico versus Uruguay for the silver. Might have to go to the photo on this one. United States win it. And we will have to go to the photo. Can't pick that one. Might have been Mexico. They may have just got it. Unofficially, though, we will go to the photo. Who picks up the silver? Who picks up the bronze? United States certainly win it. Really good time of 6:35.16. Dale Carlson and Alexander Hedge, Pan American champions. Unofficially, It has gone silver to the Uruguayans, 638.82 versus 638.98. Now that still remains unofficial. That's just off the timing system we've got. So Uruguay may have just hung on for silver. Mexico fast finishing, certainly pick up a medal. At the moment it's bronze. You just see that lake just starting to chop up a bit more now. That wind begins to increase. Still got the men's quadruple sculls to come. Women's quadruple sculls, then there will be a break. And we will have the eights, and look what it means to the United States. Absolutely thrilled, absolutely delighted to win a major championship gold medal. Now, beautiful medals. And there it is. So it is Uruguay, the silver, Mexico, the bronze. And what are we talking? Just over 1/10 of a second separating the two of them. That is extraordinary. Just showing you the small percentages, the difference between a good sleep and a bad night's sleep. The difference maybe but pushing the snooze button, taking an extra 10 minutes sleep on a given day. That's what it comes down to. Not suggesting that was the case with Uruguay or Mexico, but it's just providing some context to how finer the margins are. So the men's quadruple sculls, A final. Chile will start in 1, the United States in 2, Uruguay in 3, Mexico in 4, Argentina in 5, Cuba in 6. So it's 2 from 2 in the final so far the way of the United States. Can they make it 3? They start across there in 2. Bottom of the screen, it's Cuba. Famous colours of Argentina in 5. And really a nation that is really beginning to emerge in the sport of rowing. Mexico in 4. The men's quadruple sculls is underway. Really good start coming from Mexico in lane 4. Exploded out of the blocks, exploded off the line. But now the Cubans here in 6 have decided to take it out quickly as well. Just want to set that tempo, set that rhythm. Been relying a lot on the stroke. Who's at the stern end, who is in that number 1 seat. And we'll get a bit of a feeling of how the boat is moving. And Uruguay, lane 3. Cuba in lane 6. Again, another measured start here from the United States in 2. Argentina struggling with the initial pace in lane 5, as is Mexico. But we just saw the Mexican pairing and the men's coxless pair storm home to narrowly miss out on silver when they were a long way back through the 1,000. And again, just an example of how quickly things can change. Good boat speed being shown by all the crews at the moment, bound mountain high. Setting up these boats is an art in itself, based on individual physiology, height, weight, type of rower that you are, right down to the psychology, the mindset. So through 500 metres we go. And it is Cuba who went through 500 in time of 1:25.51. 0.13 second ahead of Uruguay, 3 seconds clear of Chile, 4 seconds clear of the United States. So it is still Uruguay who have well and truly gone clear. Boat length clear now. Cuba down here in lane 6, beginning to rally though, beginning to make their move, being relatively conservative. And maybe the dark horse, the United States in lane 2. As we come up to the 1,000 metres. I know in their own heads that they've got around about 2.5 to 3 minutes left of suffering. Real hurt is about to come on shortly. Chile now beginning to make their move across there in one. And so halfway through. Gold medal up for grabs, men's quadruple sculls, a final. All four are going to need to make sure that they have something in the tank. Cannot have one of these rowers suddenly feel like piano's landed on their back. It will affect the entire crew. So it's about communication, it's about understanding. Famous song by the artist Billy Joel, the piano man, and endurance sport. When you start to tie up, it feels like the piano's on your back. You hear the piano man playing in your ear, and then before you know it, the whole orchestra comes crashing down on you, and it's an ugly place. That's what all of these crews, individuals and collectively, will be trying to avoid. Experienced campaigners, it is Uruguay who are in complete control of this men's quadruple sculls final. Chile, the United States battling it out for second and third. Cuba across here in lane 6, also still in the mix. This would be a wonderful performance, great moment for rowing in Uruguay if they can grab this gold medal. Through that 1500 metre mark, here come Chile in lane 1. United States now beginning to move, starting to increase their ratings. But it is all Uruguay. It is Uruguay who are on their way to an historic gold medal in the men's quadruple sculls. Classy display, superb performance. What a moment, what a performance. Uruguay, Pan-American champions, gold medalists. Chile, the silver, and who will get the bronze? Here come Mexico, surging up the line over the United States, and it will be Mexico, I think. Mexico might have just grabbed it on the line, may have just picked up a bronze medal. Great moment for them as well. Boy, what a finish from the Mexicans, but nobody can deny Uruguay. They led from start to finish. Look what it means to them. 5:53.34. Wow, that is good. Well, it's been wonderful racing. What a moment for Uruguay. As we look back down the course and just start to see a little bit of the carnage that we didn't see earlier. Now it is the turn of the women's quadruple sculls. As the party continues for the Uruguayan athletes in the men's race, we'll have Cuba in 1, Argentina in 2, Brazil in 3, Chile in 4, the might of Canada and the United States in lanes 5 and 6. So all of these 6 crews, like just a coiled spring at the moment, just waiting to explode, just waiting to pop, been peaking for this moment.
Cuba, Argentina, Brazil, Chile, Canada, United States of America. Attention.
Our women's quadruple sculls, A final underway, 2,000 metres here on Laguna Grande in San Pedro de la Paz, 500 kilometres outside the city of Santiago. History beckoning for one of these crews, a gold medal on offer at the Pan American Games. Really good even start. The United States have gone out quickly, as have Canada, lanes 5 and 6, the 2 lanes at the bottom of your screen. And then in the middle, it is Chile, Brazil, Argentina and Cuba across the far side. A little bit more conservative in their approach. That will be tactical. But it is the Chilean crew who want to set the tone. However, Canada and the United States deciding to cover. Certainly Canada look the most comfortable of all the crews at the moment. Americans got a very high rating. It won't be sustainable. It will drop if they look to lengthen out. A little bit more distance per stroke. Coming up to that 500 metre mark, all of these athletes will now get a bit of a feel how they're feeling individually, how the boat's moving collectively. They would have had really good warm-ups, got the nervous system up. A lot of the guesswork's been taken out in the years leading up to this in training. Each athlete will know what they've got to do to get themselves best prepared, both mentally and physically, and then there'll also be some protocols around them collectively. Some athletes might do a bit of speed work, bit of up-tempo work in their warm-ups. Others, well, they might just prefer to go long and keep it fairly aerobic. Now we just start to see the United States moving up alongside of Chile. Canada still in the mix, as is Brazil. Across the far side it's Cuba, lane 2, Argentina just dropping back a little bit at the moment. Nice shot here of the Chilean crew. Really good tempo, really good rhythm. Got that bow nice and high out of the water. Good boat speed. Just have a look at their rating, almost on par with each other. So now it comes down to individual physiology and then how that adds up collectively. So the United States canvas in front of Chile, Canada in the bronze medal position. Too far away from coming through that 1,000 metre mark, and that is the 1,000 metre mark there. Still anybody's race. It's only to Brazil to start to pick it up a little bit. And so through 1,000 metres, the United States 136.89, just 0.62 of a second ahead of Chile, 137.51. Canada a further 2.5 seconds back from the United States, time of 1:39.45. And here go the Americans. They've already won 2 gold medals on day 3 here. Uruguay winning the other. Picked up gold medals earlier today in the coxless pair for men and the coxless pair for women. Can they make it 3? Such a big sport at collegiate level in the United States. Still, they haven't got clear water just yet. This is a really gutsy performance from Chile. Still just applying the pressure. United States looking to try and just tighten the screws, just try and squeeze them. .1500 metres. Now we get to that threshold, 500 metres of truth. Here we go. Who's taken it out too hard? Who's burnt too many matches? Who still has a little bit left in the tank? Canada, you sort of just feel maybe don't have a lot left. Chile digging deep. Now the hurt goes on. It is brutal. It is a tough sport. This is the last pace any of these 8 athletes want to be. This requires huge mental fortitude. One of the great races beginning to develop. Here comes the Chilean boat. The United States still half a canvas clear. Less than 250 metres left to race. Crowd urging both crews on. It's still the United States who have the momentum. They're starting to just move away a little bit now, America. The bell ball of Chile starts to lift high though. Nothing in it. They'll throw everything into this last 100 metres. Settle back, folks. Here we go. Gold medal up for grabs. The women's quadruples 19th Pan American Games. It is the might of the United States. It is the host nation. But the Americans now find that extra gear. Take it up a notch. They go to the line. It'll be to the United States. Silver to the host nation, Chile. What a performance, what a race. Bronze will go the way of Canada. Well, that certainly got the locals on their feet. That certainly brought a smile to their face. Nobody can deny the Americans their 3rd gold medal here on day 3 of the rowing program. Very measured through that first 500 metres. Kept it nice and even, 6:26.04. Not fast conditions, coolish water. Boats don't move as quickly, but as have mentioned, time's irrelevant. They come and go. The medals last forever. And those young 4 athletes, well, they will have gold medals put around their neck. Grace Joyce, Veronica Acazio, Madeleine Focht, Catherine Horvath are your gold medalists. Christina Hofstetter, Victoria Hofstetter, Melita Abraham Schussler and Antonia Abraham Schussler, silver medals for Chile. And then for Canada, Kendra Hartley, Paige Illingworth, Elise Bryan and Caroline DePava will be Pan American bronze medalists. Just got the one more final, which will take place in around about an hour's time, and that is the men's 8. Blue ribbon event, the 8s at any rowing regatta. That is set to go 9:30 local time, so in around about an hour and 10 minutes. As we just go back and reflect on some of the wonderful images coming off the lake here at Laguna Grande in San Pedro de la Paz, Chile. Really good race, this one. And there you go, the smallest of margins, less than a second in a race over 2,000 metres. Doesn't take much. Sport can be kind, it can be cruel. But I think all three crews, the United States, Chile and Canada, will be pretty happy with that performance. They all left out there on the course, nothing left in the tank. Now just a chance for the rowers to warm down. A number of them will still have the smaller boats to contest, the individual sculls possibly. So recovery now becomes important, and then they're going to have to control their emotions, because it'll be pretty special when they do receive those medals at that medal ceremony. So just the men's 8 to come in about an hour's time as we look back over this remarkable venue of Laguna Grande in San Pedro de la Paz, Chile. Day 3. It's been 3 gold medals for the United States, 1 for Uruguay, 1 more final to come. So as we confirm the results there and have a look at that, 0.7, 0.8 of a second. Unbelievable, really. Really good performance from Brazil, Cuba, Argentina rounding out the top 6. And don't go away, folks. We will be back in an hour for that men's 8. Looking forward to bringing you all the action here at the 19th Pan American Games. Cool, overcast conditions. Welcome back to day 3 of the rowing program here at the 19th edition of the Pan American Games. The venue is Laguna Grande in San Pedro de la Paz, 500 kilometers outside the city of Santiago. It is one more race left on today's program, arguably one of the blue ribbon events, the men's 8. Argentina, the defending champions, will start in 1, Cuba in 2, Chile in 3, the host nation, Mexico in 4, the might of the United States in 5, Uruguay in lane 6. Already today, it's been a good morning for the United States, picking up 3 of the gold medals on offer, and Uruguay picking up the other. Weather conditions, well, 12 degrees, relatively cool, not high humidity, but we have just seen a shift in the wind. It is just a little bit more of a ripple on the second half of this course. Still idyllic through the first 500 metres. So as we have a look at the might of the United States, they have dominated really throughout the history of the Pan American Games, the Americans. Haven't won it though, however, since 2011. Argentina winning back in 2019. Prior to that, it was Canada. Canada not in this final, somewhat of a surprise. There is Uruguay. Uruguay earlier today winning the men's quadruple sculls. Very good performance over a fast-filling host nation Chile. Mexico picking up the bronze medal. So hard to find 8 athletes who can find the cohesion required. Makes the 8s incredibly tough to do well in. New Zealand, the defending Olympic champions, of course part of Oceania, but certainly the United States. Countries like Canada have a rich history at the highest level in the sport. It's been dominated by the Americans at a Pan-American level. Americans have won this 12 times, going back to 1955, the first time they won it, the second time the Pan American Games were held. Ironically, Argentina, the defending champions, were the first ever winners back in 1951. It's only been Argentina, Cuba, Canada and the United States who have ever won this event, so opportunity for Chile, Mexico and Uruguay to add their country's name to the rich history of this event. So still just waiting there in the middle for a team out of Mexico to get themselves in line. Big responsibility falls on the coxswains. Now they can be either male or female. But their job is to control the rhythm. Will be nervous, but the benefit they have is they can share the nerves, the anxiety with the remainder of their crewmates. Really is spectacular, the start of a men's or women's 8, with the blades going through the water in unison. We are underway in the men's 8, the 19th edition of the Pan American Games, here at the spectacular arena Laguna Grande in San Pedro de la Paz in Chile, and a really good start coming from the Uruguayans here in lane 6. Expect a measured performance from the United States in lane 5, then across the far side in lane 2, Cuba won this event back in 1991, so it's been a long time between drinks, but only one of 4 nations that have won at this level at a Pan American Games. And they'll want to get into the rhythm, set their tempo early. You can hear the coxswains barking out the orders. Really good start. Spectacular, inspiring. Cuba hanging tough there in 2. United States just sitting back. They will be measured. They will want to have a very strong second 1,000 metres. Coming up to that 500 metre mark, we'll get those splits for you. It is still Chile over Uruguay. You can throw a blanket over the rest of this field. So we'll find out whether the strategy pays off when we get to the second 1,000 metres, in particular the last 500. So Cuba went through 500 metres in a time of 1:22.72. Just 0.17 seconds behind was Uruguay. Chile in third, 1.65 seconds behind Cuba. Argentina, the United States. United States having won this event back in 2011, 2007, 2003, 1999, 95. Cuba back in 91, 87 the United States won, 83 the United States won, 1979, 1975 was Argentina back in 1971. The Americans again in 1967. And it was Canada in 1963. Go back to 1959, it was the United States, 55 the United States, and the first ever time it was held, it was Argentina. So very much an event dominated by the Americans. We're going to add a new name to go alongside of Argentina, Cuba, Canada and America as winners of this race. Things just starting to close up a little bit now. Really good performance coming here from Chile, the host nation, in lane 3. This is one race you want to grab, it's the 8s. Uruguay though, really good. Great performance earlier today in the 4s. Narrowly getting up over Chile. Really special moment for them. Uruguay crew is made up of Beriolo, Ferreira, Correa, Lopez, Berthe, Salute Galo, Sirai Konda, Machado, Aguirre, and Biriolo Romina as the coxswain. But it is still Chile, in fact still Cuba across there, looking to try and add to the victory they won back in 1991. Mexico alongside of them, starting to squeeze, start to apply the pressure. Wonderful spectacle. Now we start to get into the business end. Now we start to find out whose tactics have paid off. Approaching that 1500 metre mark, there it is, so 500 metres left to race. It is still the mighty Cuba. Here come Uruguay. Here come Chile. The Chileans been urged on by this very passionate, vocal, enthusiastic crowd here at Laguna Grande. This wonderful amphitheatre, but it is still the Cubans. Haven't won the race since 1991. But here come Uruguay, they begin to increase their rating now. Really good race. Chile starting to pick it up as well. You just fence Cuba maybe in a little bit of hurt here. The momentum is with the host nation. Chile starting to challenge. What a moment this would be. Settle back, folks. 100 metres left to go. Pan American Games, men's 8. It is still Chile though, half a boat length. Cuba, in fact, Chile starting to get that lift, starting to rise. Have they got their bow here in front of Uruguay? Silver medal position. Uruguay start to challenge on the inside. Crowd lifting. Here come Chile. It's still Cuba. We're going to go to the line. Anybody's race. Uruguay starting to lift. And it will be Cuba. Cuba take it. We'll have to go to a photo for second and third. Maybe the host nation Chile narrowly over Uruguay. But Cuba, they win it for the second time in the history of this event. The last time was back in 1991. Look what it means to them. Look at the suffering and the hurt that's gone on. 5:37.89. That Cuban team of Paz Sanchez, Leon Polga, Rita Dubois, Romero Gonzalez, Benet Laguna, Suarez, Sanjul, Ajete, Jaraqui, Cardona Blanco, and Gonzalez. Great race, great performance. Aggressive from the start, they held it together. They saw off the challenges, and they were strong challenges from the host nation and Uruguay. And we have a new champion, a new Pan American champion. There's the island nation of Cuba. As we pick up those early stages, great fluidity from all crews, great cohesion. Just shows though, just the smallest of margins separate the top three at this level. You've only got to have one or two crew members having a slightly off day. It can be the difference between first and second, or third and fourth. And we'll have to wait for the final results in terms of who did pick up that silver medal. I think it was, in fact, Chile that did just pip the Uruguayans, who for so long, we'll have to wait though, unofficially, it is Uruguay with the silver. Just a 1/10 of a second ahead of Chile, unofficial of course. Cuba certainly the winners in a time of 5:37.89. Confirm those results for you. But at the moment, unofficially, it is Cuba, Uruguay, and then the host nation, gold, silver, and bronze. And if you want an idea of just how much this hurts, they have lactic acid in the legs like you would not imagine. Bonfires in the legs, razor blades in the lungs. It is tough. But look what it means to this crew. What a moment. There are those final results. It is Uruguay that pick up the silver. Look at the difference between them and Chile. 14 times champion the United States. Well, they'll have to settle for 4th. Argentina 5th. Mexico 6th. But an historic occasion for Cuba. Their 2nd victory at the 19th Pan American Games. The last one coming back in 1991. That will bring a close to day 3 here of the rowing program. The 19th Pan American Games, host nation of Chile. Day 4 of the games, day 3 of the rowing program. Plenty of finals to look forward to in the days coming as well. Number of semi-finals we will have tomorrow. We will have the women's lightweight double sculls final, the men's lightweight double sculls A final, women's 4 straight final, men's 4 final, and the women's 8. And a number of semi-finals, the men's double sculls, women's single sculls. But great emotion. Oh, great to see, isn't it? All that hard work paying off. Remarkable athletes. Got to have a head like concrete or a head like granite. And then the engine of a top-end sports car to back it up. Got those 2 ingredients, you're going to go a long way in this sport. But you've got to have the ability to deal with adversity as well, because you're going to have some tough days. You've got to learn how to lose to learn how to win. Really is a wonderful venue. Not fast water, quite cold. Boats go quicker in much warmer water. Water temperature just below 15 degrees. So it's been a day where the United States have won 3 gold medals. Uruguay have won 1, and now Cuba have picked up arguably the most valuable of the all. Certainly not taking anything away from the smaller boats, but historically it's always been the men's and women's 8. Because it's such a hard boat, you've got to have depth in your program. It's been an absolute privilege and pleasure. Plenty more rowing to come over the next 2 days.
Igual no